Well, hello everyone and welcome to the Friday recap, where today we are going to be looking back on the first day of Formula One's second race at the Bahrain International Circuit around the Bahrain Outer Loop. And it was an interesting day as drivers got accustomed to this peculiar circuit, and also different drivers got used to new cars and things like that. Before we go into the video, make sure you visit the RaceWeek website at raceweekblog.com. Make sure you follow us on Twitter for when hopefully the account's going to be back up shortly at RaceWeek_show. And make sure you leave a like, comment and subscribe for more RaceWeek content. Without further ado, let's go in to the Friday review. The session got underway in the morning and drivers struggled to get accustomed to the new layout, particularly the middle sector. This and the chicane in the middle sector, it proved to be really tricky, particularly on the high downforce setup. But it was more relevant running than last week because the temperatures were fairly similar to because it was in evening and the temperatures were fairly similar to what we might see on Sunday in the race. But at the top, George Russell, he instantly managed to get out to speed. He was not fully comfortable in the car when it came to his personal comfort, like seat comfort, but he was able to instantly hit the ground running by setting the fastest time ahead of Max Verstappen in second place. Alexander Albon was third fastest in the Red Bull. A good start to the weekend for him, with Valtteri Bottas really struggling in that Mercedes in the early stages. It looked like he just could not get the car turned in to the corners that well, and he did struggle quite a lot. In fifth place was Danny Kvyat ahead of Pierre Gasly in sixth, Esteban Ocon in seventh, and Sebastian Vettel in eighth, with Ricciardo and Leclerc rounding out the top 10. It wasn't a good start for Racing Point or McLaren, both cars from each team finishing outside the top 10. But whilst Pietro Fittipaldi and Jack Aitken were racking up the mileage, although Pietro Fittipaldi had an issue where he lost a set of tyres due to a lockup. But that was practice one. The more relevant one, as always, was the second practice session in the afternoon. And it wasn't a good session for everyone. Neither Charles Leclerc could not set a lap time because he had an issue earlier on which left him garage bound for most of the session. Also, Lando Norris ran over a curb which sent a few bits flying from his car. And resulted in him, and that put him in the garage. But once again, George Russell, he has topped both Friday sessions. He had I would say probably the best day that he could have had today. Could not have gone any better for him. Set the fastest time, dialed into the car. He seemed when of course his seat may not have been the most comfortable in the world, but he seemed very at one with the car. Max Verstappen was second fastest in the Red Bull, ahead of Sergio Perez in third, Esteban Ocon in fourth, Alex Albon in fifth, Danny Kvyat in sixth, Lance Stroll in 7th, Danny Ricciardo in 8th, Pierre Gasly in 9th, and Lance Stroll in 10th. But then Valtteri Bottas continuing to struggle to dial in the practice session and getting multiple lap times deleted, which meant that he did not have a solid time on the board. As you can see on the screen, Sebastian Vettel, he struggled to get a handle on his Ferrari, spinning a couple of times, one time having a lucky escape. He almost was hit by Kevin Magnussen, who suddenly had a Ferrari spinning across his path. Not a good day for Ferrari, it can be said. We had a qualifying session today in the form of the Formula 2 series, and 22 cars around this short layout was always going to be carnage. And it was. The session consisted of everyone fighting for space. And then there was a potentially championship-defining incident at the end of the session where Mick Schumacher and Roy Nissany made contact going into the final corner, which put both cars out of the session. This was just before the end of the session, by the way. But it seemed what happened was Mick Schumacher was trying to thread his way through, and then he misjudged it when cutting back to the racing line. And then for some reason, Nissany was pushed off the track, then went back onto the track into Mick, and then that sent his car skywards, or kind of skywards. That incident was investigated, but there's been no reports of penalty yet. So I'm assuming that they have let both drivers slide with that. But it was a terrible session for Mick. He starts in 18th. Really not what he needed in what could be for the title. But we have seen he can fight his way through the field, so I do think he can strike back tomorrow. It's Yuki Tsunoda who is on pole position, ahead once again. I believe this is his 4th pole of the season. Ahead of Nikita Mazepin in 2nd. Jehan Daruvala starts in 3rd. And Robert Schwartzman in 4th. A better qualifying for him, although he is now out of the championship fight. Felipe Drugovich starts in 5th, ahead of Christian Lundgaard in 6th. Artem Markelov with his best qualifying of the season in 7th. Dan Ticktum in 8th. Callum Ilott, a terrible qualifying for him. 2nd worst qualifying of the year in 9th. With Louis Delatrez rounding out the top 10. A disappointing session for Guan Yu Zhou in 11th, ahead of Marino Sato, Pedro Piquet, Luca Giotto, Marcus who had a spin towards the end of the session, Marcus Armstrong in 15th, Giuliano Alesi in 16th, it's Teo Pourchaire. Mick Schumacher has a lot to do, as I mentioned. Roy Nissany in 19th, Ralph Boschung in his first race of the season in 20th, Guilherme Samaya in 21st, with Sean Galeo rounding out the grid. So that is it from the Friday recap, and of course the F2 session has given us an indicator as to what could be in store in the Formula 1 session, which I think is going to be carnage. Surely we're going to see an incident or two. But the qualifying day recap will be reviewed tomorrow evening. Thank you very much for watching the Friday recap. Be sure to visit the RaceWeek website at raceweekblog.com. Follow us on Twitter at raceweek_show, and subscribe to this channel for more RaceWeek content. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow. Goodbye.